This weekend sees the start of the very first Autumn Nations Cup. Before we talk about the team, just a note on this exciting new competition.
Yeah, it is exciting. Normally we play 3, sometimes 4 test matches in November, often at home, which is great for us. We had a run of games at BT Murrayfield, and we play some big opposition, often from the Southern Hemisphere. This is different. It's a tournament. There's something at stake. There's the finals weekend where you're playing off for first and second, or 7th and 8th, or somewhere in between. And you're playing familiar opposition and opposition from the Southern Hemisphere in the shape of Fiji. So it's good to go into something new, a new ground for us this week, Fiorentina Stadium in Florence, and play a quality side who have always been tough opposition for us.
If you look at the squad you've chosen to travel this weekend, we see a number of changes. Duhan gets a start this weekend in the wing, and Sam Johnson comes back into the mix. What do you expect from those players?
Yeah, well, Duhan did very well in his first cap, and there's real competition on the wing. We have Duhan, Blair, who played very well against Wales, Darcy in the mix, Sean Maitland coming back into our squad too, one of our best players over the last few years. So it's an opportunity for him to start again and show us in a more testing game, Italy away, that he should be starting more regularly. And in terms of Sam, it was great to see that he's got 2 games with Glasgow. I thought he played really well against Leinster, building on his performance after the Ospreys. And it's been obviously a long road for him, just coming back from lockdown and getting over his knee injury, but he looks in good shape. Played for us earlier in the Six Nations and the World Cup, so he's been a key player for us over the last couple of seasons, and we look forward to seeing him reuniting with Chris in the centres.
And you've chosen Stuart McNally to come back into the mix as well. We know Fraser Brown and also George Horn were injured in training. Could you give us an update on those injuries and maybe a little bit on Stuart starting as well?
Yeah, well, they both came in yesterday's session. So Fraser just got a blow on to the head during a scrum session. He seems to be better today, but that's ruled him out for the weekend. And George Horn picked up a toe injury, so we're just waiting to see where we are with him. It gives an opportunity to George Turner and also Sam Hidalgo-Klein, who's just joined our squad this week, to be part of a Scotland group again.
We also see the return of Dunky Weir coming back into Scotland camp. So a player you know well from your time at Glasgow. Dunky obviously being rewarded for his good form down south. Just a note on Dunky and what's impressed you about him over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's been brilliant at helping the team prepare for the games. He's been running in the opposition side and he's trained really well. He has played very well for Worcester since the restart. He was in good form before then. There's a calmness about his play. He brings lots of experience in that position and lots of passion to play for Scotland, to do his best, to bring the best out of his teammates. So it's a big opportunity for him. We're excited for him. We're delighted that he's getting a chance to start after a couple of minutes off the bench against France earlier this year. So yeah, he's someone that has a big role to play in the position he plays, and we wish him well.
If you look at the bench, Gregor, you've brought in Sam Hidalgo-Klein and Sam Skinner, both in good form for Exeter Chiefs. How good is it from a coaching point of view that you can bring in winners not only in the Gallagher Premiership but in Europe as well?
Yes, it's great. The 4 Exeter players have been involved in a few big games, semi-finals, finals. 2 of them were involved in our win against Wales last week. So both Sam's now coming onto the bench. They bring that confidence and match readiness that they've played over the last few weeks. And there's cohesion there too. You've got 4 players that have been playing together. We obviously have a lot of our players come out of Edinburgh, Glasgow that have that cohesion. So to have another club where people have formed good bonds over the last few weeks and are now in the squad together, that should add to that team unity.
Let's look at the opposition now, Gregor. It's Italy, and as you alluded to earlier on, it's in a different location. It's going to be in Florence. Now, this is a stadium that Italy know well after a victory against South Africa there a few years ago. That will give them confidence, but what do you expect from Italy?
Well, I think they'll play with real passion and physicality. They showed that, especially in the first half against England. They were fired up for that game. They took the game to England. They were unlucky not to score 1 or 2 tries in that first half. They have power. They always have. They've got a lot of players they can choose from that bring power in the set piece and the maul. They've got a real powerful back row led by Jake Pelledri, who's been in outstanding form. They have a mix of youth and experience in the back line, but there is an ambition to play. Whether that's the half-backs, Kana at centre, other guys for the back line, there's some excellent rugby players there. And they know that a game to kickstart the season and get a win will do so much for them as a group. And they'll be looking at our game, Fiji, in the following week as games that they believe they can win. So this will be a tough challenge. It always is against Italy. They play well against us. They played well against us a few months ago back in Rome. We didn't play at our best. We know we'll have to be better this weekend.
Is it fair to say that you maybe seen a slight change in the way that they play now? Is there a certain change of structure or change of style that you've seen in Italy?
Yes, there was certainly a change of style when Franco Smith took over. He's an excellent coach, spent a lot of time with Treviso, the Cheetahs, and he's been in the Springbok coaching group. A very good man, Franco, and you could tell that they're playing more ambitious rugby, picking fitter players who can play that type of rugby. And we saw that in the games they played prior to the lockdown. We played very well against France. They moved the ball well against us, trying to play lineouts quickly, which is a big change from how Italy would have played in the past. Since the restart, they've added more of a kicking game. So you'll see them kicking more and kicking longer and using their defence to pressure teams to get turnovers. So we've got to be aware of that balance, aware of whether it's ambitious rugby, the kicking rugby that they bring, or a mixture of both, that we're going to be ready for whatever's in front of us and making the most of each situation we find ourselves in.